When you're building anything in Odoo, there's one file that holds all the power. It's not a model, it's not a view. It is the architectural blueprint for your entire module, the __ manifest.py file.
And I'm not kidding. You get this file wrong and your module just, well, it won't load, it won't install, it basically won't exist as far as Odoo is concerned. It is the ultimate gatekeeper. So you have to stop thinking of this as just some file with basic info. Nope. This thing is your module's command and control center. It dictates dependencies, how data gets loaded, what happens on the front end, and how the module behaves during installation. So what is its architectural role, really? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. Think of it like this. It's your module's passport. It's how it identifies itself to the Odoo system. It's also a central configuration dictionary, kind of like a package.json file if you're coming from the node world. But its most critical role? It's the system director. It's the boss, telling Odoo exactly what to load, when to load it, and how. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. How does Odoo actually use all these little blueprints to build the entire application? It all comes down to the dependency graph. When Odoo starts up, its core engine goes on a mission. It scans all of the add-on directories, reads every single manifest file it finds, and from all that information, it builds what's known as a directed acyclic graph, or a DAG. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying it creates a one-way dependency map, making sure there are no circular references. This graph is absolutely critical because it determines the exact, non-negotiable loading order for every single module in the system. And the main takeaway here is this. The depends key inside your manifest file is the primary architect of this entire structure. You get that wrong and the whole system can become unstable. All right, so let's pop the hood on this file. Let's dissect it and look at the key components that give you, the developer, all this architectural power. First up is the passport info. The name is what users actually see in the apps list. The version is super important. Odoo uses this to handle migrations and updates, so you gotta get your semantic versioning right. And of course, the license is a big deal. You'll typically be using LGPL3 for community modules or OPL1 if you're building something proprietary for the Odoo App Store. Next up, data loading. The data key is just an ordered list of all the XML and CSV files that need to be loaded when your module gets installed or updated. The demo key does the exact same thing, but only for databases that have demonstration data enabled. And this brings us to a critical rule that you just can't ignore. Order matters a lot. You absolutely must load your security files, like your ir.model.access.csv, before you load your views. Why? Because if you don't, Odoo will try to load views for models that the user doesn't even have permission to see yet, and everything will just break. Now, let's talk about the front end. If you've worked with older versions of Odoo, you probably have some not-so-fond memories of adding CSS or JavaScript through clunky XML template inheritance. It was a pain. Thankfully, since Odoo 15, that's been totally replaced with a clean, declarative system that you manage right in the manifest with the assets key. This was a massive architectural improvement. You're mainly going to be working with 3 asset bundles. You've got web.assets backend for the internal UI, web.assets frontend for your public website, and web.assets common for any core stuff that gets loaded everywhere. But what if you need more control? What if just appending your file to the end of the list isn't good enough? Well, that's where asset operations come in. By using a Python tuple instead of a simple string, you can get incredibly precise control over the load order. This gives you surgical precision. You can prepend some SCSS variables to the very top, inject a script before a specific Odoo core file, replace a library with your own forked version, or even remove a file from a bundle completely. It's an incredibly powerful tool for customization. Then we have these simple Boolean flags that control installation behavior. Installable just decides if it shows up on the app list. Application makes it a top-level app. And auto_install. This one is really clever. It's perfect for what we call glue modules. Let's say you write a module that connects your CRM to your project app. You set auto_install to true, and it just sits there until the moment both CRM and project are installed. Then, boom, it installs itself automatically. No manual steps needed. Okay, we've nailed the core structure. Now let's get into the advanced stuff, the features that let you hook your module directly into the system's lifecycle and talk to the outside world. Hooks are your entry points to run Python code during the install process. Need to run a complex check before your module even starts installing? Use a pre-init hook. Need to create some complex records or do some configuration right after it's installed? That's what a post-init hook is for. And the uninstall hook is your chance to be a good citizen and clean up any data when your module gets removed.
So what about dependencies that aren't other Odoo modules? That's where the external dependencies key comes in. You can specify any required Python libraries from PyPy or even system binaries. If they're not found in the environment, Odoo will block the installation, which is exactly the kind of failsafe you want. Okay, so now that we've seen how powerful the manifest is, let's talk about how easy it is to mess things up. With great power comes some really frustratingly simple ways to break everything.
Honestly, the most common errors are often the simplest ones. A missing comma in the Python dictionary, a typo in a dependency name, a wrong file path. We've all been there, right? Staring at a server log for 20 minutes, only to find a single missing comma.
So for best practices, always keep your dependency list as small as possible to reduce complexity. Definitely use tools like Pylint/Odoo in your CI pipeline to validate your manifest automatically. And here's a pro tip for measuring your work. Use the built-in Odoo bin CLOC command to count your lines of code. To get accurate metrics on just your code, add the clock exclude key to your manifest. This lets you filter out any third-party JavaScript libraries or other code you didn't write, so you're only measuring what you've actually built. So, let's bring it all together. What are the key architectural takeaways you should remember from this explainer? The manifest is the absolute heart of your module. The depends key is what builds the entire system graph. The data list order is non-negotiable for a stable system. The assets key is your modern tool for controlling the front end. And finally, hooks and external dependencies are your bridge to the wider ecosystem.
So the next time you create a new Odoo module, don't just fill out the __ manifest.py file like it's some boring form. Treat it like the architectural blueprint it truly is. Because when you do, you're not just defining some metadata, you're setting the foundation for a cleaner, more stable, and more maintainable system from day one. Which leads me to this final question for you to think about.